You are now muted.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hello and good evening, everyone. If I am completely and clearly audible to you, just please type yes in the chat box of your YouTube so that we can just start our session of today. If I am completely audible to you, please type yes in the chat box and we can start our session without any further delay. Yes, so I can see plenty of yeses here. And also, I think most of us have joined now. So without any further delay, let's get started with our today's session. Yes, so there are plenty of yeses. So yes, we are starting. Konnichiwa, watashi no namae wa Abhishek desu.
Konnichiwa. Watashi no namae wa Shruti desu.
こんにちは。私の名前はシュレヤです。
Yes, I know you might have not understood what we just said, but don't worry. The reason we three are taking these sessions is for y'all to understand all the basic Japanese terms, words, numbers, and lot more. It's going to be 5 days long sessions, and we hope that you all learn and enjoy with us as much as possible. And if you need anything, then we are there for sure. And yes, we have not forgotten to tell you all the meaning of those Japanese lines that we spoke earlier. But let's keep them as suspense for now. Don't worry, we are going to cover it in the upcoming sessions. So before getting into today's session, I want to just read out some basic rules as suggested by us and our session coordinators. They are, for any doubts, queries, or technical problems, we suggest you all to write out in the chat box without any hesitation, and one of us will either reply then and there, or we'll reserve our last 5 to 10 minutes of our session as a doubt clearing one. You can see the chat box on the right hand side of your YouTube screen. Also, I suggest you all to please take your own notes as much as possible because we won't be providing any of them. Because see, Japanese pronunciation might be tricky for you. So it's better if you write the pronunciation in your own words, in your own language. You'll know about it soon. For now, I just suggest please take a notebook and a pen pencil with you so that you can have and write your own notes. Also, there will be multiple quizzes to test how you all are doing and how we are teaching. And don't worry, the quizzes will be taken from what we'll be teaching you. So everything that we'll cover, we will have the quizzes from then and that syllabus only. So do pay close attention to what we are teaching. Also, as we all know, you'll be getting an e-certificate for this workshop, but for that, you will have to give an examination as well. The date will be announced soon via your WhatsApp group. The examination is compulsory. And don't worry, ki yaar, kya exam and stuff. The questions will be from the syllabus that we'll be discussing. So just chill and enjoy the sessions. So let us now finally start our session. I like to introduce the speakers here. My name is Abhishek Shah. Along with us, we have Shreya Pusegaonkar and Shruti Pusegaonkar. Shreya and Shruti are both N4 clear. They have cleared JLPT, which is Japanese Language Proficiency Test, and I am JLPT N5 cleared. Now, see, before learning any language, it's very important for us to know about the country and its culture. And for that, I would ask Ms. Shruti to please take over the session.
So before starting our Japanese session, or what we are talking about, we will be talking about Japan. So just tell me if I'm audible to everyone in the comment box. If I'm audible, please comment in the chat box so that we will start our session. Okay, so most of his comments are yes. So we will start now. So thank you, Abhishek. So good evening, everyone. I'm Shruti, and for now, let's talk about Japan. Because while learning language, first we need to know about what actually the country is, or some facts and aspects of the country. So from the very first thing, the most common thing we know about Japan is it is called as the land of rising sun. Everybody knows that it is called as the land of rising sun. So actually, there's a little story behind it, because until the 7th century, Japan was not called as Nippon or Nihon. It was called as Wa or Yamato. These words you might little not understand, but it's just a little story behind the name. So it was called Wa or Yamato until 7th century, which was written using the Chinese characters. So actually, to the Chinese, Japan was in the direction where the sun rises, that is the east of China. So that's why the people there used to call it in Chinese Japan or Zilpang. So which was translated as sun's origin, the sun's origin, or where the sun originates. So what the Japanese then, the government actually changed the country's name from Wa to Nihon. It didn't change. They didn't change the meaning of the word. They just said, they told that we will changing our country's name to Nihon. So they changed it to Nihon in the early 8th century. So it's like same as we call India as Bharat or Hindustan in our language. So the Japanese give their own language name to Japan as Nihon or Nippon in the early 8th century. So this was a small story of why Japan was called the land of rising sun. So now what the question is, why we are learning about Japan? Why Japan? So I believe, or most of us believe, that there are a lot of things, not only us, but the whole world must learn from Japan. So the very first thing that comes to our mind is the technology and innovations there. At very first, the technology of Japan. So we are very much known to Japanese products and even use them, most of us do. So from the headphones, music players of Sony or Panasonic, then cameras of Canon or Fujitsu, then Hitachi's air conditioner machines. There are also Toshiba laptops, then gaming switches or consoles from Nintendo, which are trending in the world right now, to the cars and bikes from Honda, Toyota, Suzuki, Nissan. We all are known, and most of us have even used them. So it was actually the Japanese who invented the canned coffee. We all know canned coffees which we get in the market. It's actually invented in the Japan. Plus, instant noodles is also invented in Japan. Then the karaoke is also invented in Japan. Blue light emitting diodes. The inventors of these blue light emitting diodes were actually awarded with the Nobel Prize because they were eco-friendly and environment friendly. And lastly, the Walkman player, it was also invented in Japan. So Japan was the pioneer for MP3 technology, the MP3 audio which we listen. So it was the Japan who invented the MP3 technology too. And the compact discs, which are mainly used by us, by the engineers, are also co-developed by Sony and Philips. So they are also Japanese technology. Then another thing which is about Japan, that according to the World Intellectual Property Organization, they researched, and the most patents or grants applications, Japan rank first. So Japan is the first at the first rank where most of the patents and grants are done, or most of the patents are applied or applied. So Japan ranks first in patent applications too. So which is why the economy of Japan is highly developed, and it is a free market economy. Plus, it is the third largest in the world of nominal GDP. Japan ranks third largest in the world of nominal GDP. So this was a little bit about technology of Japan. And after technology, the most important aspect is the education. The education of a country. It also depends because most of us, when we like to study abroad, so education also matters a lot. So Japan's literacy rate is actually 99%. And the reason behind it is because the Japanese give importance to quality education, not only education. Also, the compulsory education in Japan is which lasts for 9 years through elementary school to junior school. There is only compulsory 9 years education in Japan. Still, the literacy rate is 99%. It's really reached all, or the world should consider, or we all should know about it because education is really important. And so, how the Japanese school system is, the Japanese school system consists of 6 year elementary schools, 6 year elementary school, then 3 year junior high school, and followed by 3 year high school, then followed by a 2 or 3 year junior college or a 4 year college. So this is how the Japanese education system is, starting from the 6 year elementary school, 3 year junior high school, then 3 year high school, followed by 2 or 3 year junior college or a 4 year college. And the compulsory education only lasts from the 6 year elementary school, 6 years of elementary school, and 3 years of junior high school. The high school there is not important, but still the admission rate of high school is over 95%. So even if it's not compulsory, the people there pursue their education till high school compulsory. Also, the school, more about the schools or the education system, it's like they don't only depend on the education, but also on talent and hobbies of the pupils or the students. So there are various clubs for sports, music, dance, calligraphy, and flower arrangement. So calligraphy and flower arrangement are actually the very big part of Japan's tradition. That's why the schools, even the universities there, have special clubs for both of these. So this was all about Japan's education. And the next aspect I'm going to talk about is the discipline or the following of the rules in Japan, which is really very important, or which is why the Japanese are, the discipline of the Japanese is world famous. So the Japanese are actually well disciplined, or we can say they love discipline. So they follow their rules no matter what. They will follow their rules. The Japanese themselves believe that very first rule is to follow the rules. Whatever rules you have given, you must follow them. That's the very first rule is. So this was the discipline, and this well-disciplined nature of the Japanese led them to a very good behavior of everything, of every people there. And so the next is the cleanliness. We can say that the Japanese are obsessed with cleanliness. Really, means if you go to Japan, you'll see very less, a very less number of trash bins or dustbins used in public, including the streets, train stations, and toilets. They are all clean, and without really the less number of trash or the less number of dustbins used there. So it's very difficult to find trash boxes in the streets because the people there are encouraged to take garbage back to home and then dispose it off properly. So for we have plastic waste, we have organic waste, then we have e-waste. So everything is disposed of properly at their proper place. So this is the really important thing everyone should know, because right now we are in a situation, the coronavirus is increasing day by day. So how cleanliness matters, this really matters. So I think the less number of or the rate of increasing the coronavirus is really less in Japan is because maybe cleaning is one of the reasons there. Also, one more thing about the cleanliness of Japan is at schools, the students themselves are supposed to clean their classroom as a part of their school activities. So after their school ends or for the day, every student, even in elementary schools, even in the junior high schools, even in the high school, every student will clean their respective classroom before going their home. So this is also one important thing, that the students are taught to be clean or to properly maintain the cleanliness from a very young age, or from their school time, even in the schools. So this is very important. So and one more thing, if you go to Japan, you will see people wearing masks everywhere. Around everywhere, anywhere you go in Japan, you can see them wearing masks. So even if they suffer from very little cough, sneezing or fever, they will quickly put on their masks to avoid infecting others. So this might be another reason why the coronavirus is very less at this moment in Japan. So I guess cleanliness is the main point. Everyone should learn about it, because from now on we all will need to be more careful about our cleanliness. Not only our surroundings, but our country, our world. So if our world or surroundings will be clean, no virus can spread away like this. So the next and the most important part of learning about learning a language, or particularly about a country, is culture. Like India has a very different culture. Same, Japan also have a very different culture. So culture is a very important part when we try to learn about a country, to know about a country, or to know about its language. So now let's talk about the culture of Japan. So at some places, when you visit Japan, at some places you will require to take off your shoes. So especially when you enter a person's home, different person's home, or maybe it can be a friend, business partner, or anyone. So what requires it? They tell you to please take off your shoes at the entrance, and they will offer you different slippers which they wear only in the house. And they also have their own slippers they wear in the house, and also for the guests too. So this is also a part of cleanliness too, and as their culture. They also tell you to take off your shoes wherever there are tatami mats. The tatami mats is a type of mat which is a tradition there from a very long back time. So they also tell you to take off your shoes while entering a room where there are tatami mats. So even in schools, what happens when a student enters a school building? The lockers are provided to every student there from every class. Each one has a separate locker to just take off their shoes, which they wear while coming to the school, change them to their school shoes, and then only enter the building. So they have separate pair of shoes while they are in the school building, which they can't wear outside the school building. Not even in the ground, they will have a separate pair for their sports or any other activity. So this is also a very important thing. And the next point, bowing. If we have seen animes or dramas which are really very famous in Japan, so if we have seen them, we almost see everyone bowing there while greeting. So bowing is the very respectful part of the Japanese tradition. The Japanese tradition is that you should bow when you greet someone, which is out of respect, or when you meet, even within friends, sometimes they bow. So that can vary from a slight nod of head to completely bending down, which depends on the situation actually. If you are just greeting someone, then you can just slightly bow your head or slightly nod your head. But if you are actually apologizing someone, you must bend down from your vest. You must really bend down from your vest, because you are apologizing. You have done something wrong. So you need to apologize with a very particular bow. We will know about the techniques of bowing in our upcoming sessions too. So this bowing technique is kind of similar to us Indians, because our tradition way of greeting is joining our hands and a slight bow. So I think this bowing is also another reason why Japanese already have social distancing skills. Because they don't they don't do hugs or shake hands in business meetings too. So if they want to confirm any deal or anything related to business, they will just bow and say "Yoroshiku onegai shimasu." We will see what "Yoroshiku onegai shimasu" means in our upcoming session. So they will just bow and say "Yoroshiku onegai shimasu." So this bowing and our technique of doing giving respect like namaste is same. So the next and most important, especially for the workplace where we work in a company or anywhere. So the business cards is a very important tradition in Japan from a very long time actually. So handing out and receiving these business cards is much, we can say, out of respect, formal, more it's less casual thing in Japan. So everyone have their own business cards and they exchange it. So in Japan, you always hand a business card over using your two hands. So there's a technique how to actually hand out and also receive your business card from someone. So you just hand over the business card using your two hands and of course, like the Japanese tradition, a little bow. And while you receive someone's business card, you must not ignore it. You must look at it. Even if you know, you must look at it and react over it. Like, oh, okay, you are working in business department. Okay. And then put away near you. Don't put away the received business card away from you. Maybe in your wallet, in your pocket, but don't put it away from you. It is kind of it seems rude for the Japanese. So this is how the business cards are handed out and received. Also, if we all are, means most of us have done internships or we will be doing internships in future. So the interns there in Japan also have their own business cards and they can exchange it with everyone. So whether it be a CEO of any company or whatsoever, they can exchange it. Sorry. And now, to know more about the language itself, which is the sole purpose that we are all present here, I would ask Ms. Shreya Pusegaonkar to take over the session.
Thank you, Shruti. Okay, before starting, please tell me if I'm audible to you all. Just type yes. Just type yes in the comments so I will understand if I'm audible to everyone. Okay. So now that we are here for learning some basic Japanese language, so before starting, I'll just tell a few facts about the language. First of all, Japanese is the 9th most spoken language around the world. So there are a lot of fans, anime fans and J-pop fans. So they have started learning Japanese language because the culture, of course, and also the technology there. So those who want to do job in Japan, they have started learning Japanese language. And due to the famous anime and J-pop culture also, a lot of people have actually started learning the Japanese language. Next is Japanese language does not have plural forms. In Hindi, Marathi or in English also, each and everything has singular or plural forms. But in Japanese, there are no plural forms for neither living things nor non-living things. For example, if I want to say something in Japanese in plural, so I have to use adjectives or counters. I have to use counters or adjectives for making it plural. For example, hana. Hana means flower. So if I want to say lot of flowers, I will use the adjective takusan, lot of. Takusan no hana, a lot of flowers. So in such way, the adjectives work in making the plural forms. Japanese has three different writing systems, that is hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Hiragana, which is used for writing Japanese words. Kanji is the pictograph. It is a script taken from the Chinese script. And katakana, which is used for writing foreign words. So Japanese have the special script for writing foreign words. For example, elevator. It is written in katakana, elevator. So I'll show you the scripts, hiragana, katakana both. Kanji is a pictographic text that is taken from Chinese script, which is a bit harder, and most of the people misunderstand that Japanese language is hard because of the kanji. It is not at all. Kanji script is also easier. Just it takes time to learn the kanji script. Next, there are total 47 prefectures in Japan, as we have states in India like Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Gujarat. Similarly, there are prefectures in Japan, Nagoya Prefecture, or such as Hokkaido and all. So there are 47 prefectures and main 16 dialects are there. But even though there are 16 main dialects, each and every prefecture has their own dialect. Like in Maharashtra, Marathwadi Marathi is different and Vidarbhian Marathi is little bit different. So in such way, in Japan, Tokyo Japanese is different than Osakan Japanese. Then again, Fukui, it is also a prefecture. So Fukui dialect is also different than the Osakan dialect. So it makes a little bit confusing, but here we are going to focus on Keigo, that is the formal Japanese, which is mostly used. Also, the Japan Foundation conducts various type of exams for Japanese language proficiency. First is JLPT, which is Japanese language proficiency test. It has 5 levels, starting from the N5, which is the most basic, and the last one is N1 level, that is the most hardest, which is at the native level. Next is BJT, which is a Business Japanese Proficiency Test. So those who want to do job in Japan or set up their own business in Japan, they take this BJT test. Then is NAT test, which is equivalent to JLPT. It also has the same levels of JLPT. But NAT is conducted 6 times in a year and JLPT is conducted only 2 times, which is in July and December. So these were some few facts about Japanese language. So before starting with the basic greetings, I would like to tell you about hiragana and katakana. Are you able to see the hiragana and katakana chart? If you are able to see the hiragana and katakana chart in the presentation, please tell. Please comment in the comment. Okay. Okay. Now it is visible. So as we can see, the upper chart, that is the hiragana. So these are all the hiragana characters. There are total 71 characters, both in hiragana as well as katakana. So before turning towards the characters, let me tell you about the pronunciation. In Marathi or Hindi, we know that there are Barakhadi is used. But in Japanese language, we can say the languages pronunciations are all based on the vowels A, E, I, O, U, which is pronounced as A, E, U, E, O in Japanese. So the first straight line you can see in hiragana, starting from the right side, a, e, u, e, o. And from those 5 characters, the other series are taken. The next is ka series, ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Then from the ka series, ga series can be written using 10-10. So in the next session, I will be explaining it. In tomorrow's session, I will be explaining how these are done. So for now, we'll just focus on the pronunciations. Next is the sa series, sa, shi, su, se, so. Also, there are some exceptional characters which I'll be explaining in tomorrow's session as well. The next is ta, chi, tsu, te, to. Then na, ni, nu, ne, no. Ha, he, fu, he, ho. Next is ma, mi, mu, me, mo. The next ya series contains only 3 characters. Ya, you, yo. Then ra series, ra, ri, ru, re, ro. The va series contains only 2 characters, va and wo. And the ending is or In Marathi or Hindi, we use halantana or halantama. So it is similar to that. And the down, that is the katakana chart. Of course, the pronunciations are same. Only the writing pattern, that is the characters are different, but the pronunciations are same. So the katakana script is used for writing the foreign words. So I hope you have understood it. If you have any doubt regarding it, you can post it in the comments on the YouTube channel. We will take some time at the end of the session to clear your doubts. So now we will turn towards greetings, basic greetings. So it is also the most important part of learning a new language. Whenever we learn a new language, learning greetings are the most important thing. Just give me a minute. Are you able to see a blank document? Just type in the comment if you are able to see the blank document. So starting with the greetings, let's start as we get up early in the morning. Let's start with good morning. I'll just increase some font so it will be visible. So before starting, I would like to ask all of you to please take notes and write down the pronunciations in your own language so you could find it easier when you try to practice greetings. Good morning means Ohayo gozaimasu. I'm writing it in English spellings such as which is called as Romaji characters. Spelling the Japanese pronunciation is gozaimasu. The yo at the end of Ohio is prolongated by the U. Ohayo gozaimasu. This is formal greeting for good morning, and in casual we can simply say Ohayo. Ohayo is a casual greeting. Then good afternoon. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. The double N doesn't pronounce as double N. It is konnichiwa. Two different words are connected. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. So konnichiwa also means good afternoon as well as hello. When we meet person face to face, we can use konnichiwa as hello as well. Good evening. Konbanwa. Konbanwa. Good evening means konbanwa. Again, I would like to ask each and every one of you to write down the pronunciations in your own language to understand it well. For good night. Oyasumi nasai. Oyasumi nasai. Or it is a kind of formal greeting. Casually, oyasumi is used. Casually, oyasumi is used. Oyasumi, short form of oyasumi nasai. That is oyasumi. Here, yasumi means to take rest. So at night, everyone should take a break, take a rest. So that's why oyasumi nasai. Please take a rest. It roughly translates to please take rest. Then hello. Hello for while talking on the phone. When we pick up someone's call and say hello. So in Japanese we use moshi moshi. Moshi moshi for hello on the phone. This is not used while we meet the people actually. It is only used for while we talk on the phone. Then itadakimasu. Before we eat or drink, when someone offers us a food or drink, so before eating or drinking, we use Japanese use itadakimasu. Thank you, which roughly translates as thank you for the food. So before they have any lunch, dinner, or breakfast also, they always used itadakimasu. Itadakimasu. Thank you, which roughly translates as thank you for the food. Similar meaning, but different use. The greeting that is used after eating or drinking. Gochiso sama deshita. Gochiso sama deshita. We can say it can roughly translate as thank you for the food also, as well as it was tasty. Just complimenting for the food or drink. Gochiso sama deshita. Then while leaving the house, when we go out somewhere for work or for just going out with friends, while leaving the house, ittekimasu. Which roughly translates as I'm leaving now. Then when you return home, tadaima. Tadaima, which means I am home. When the person says ittekimasu while leaving the house, the person who is there greeting the other person it is take care while going out. So for that the greeting is used itterashai. Take care while going out. itterashai. सो आपण जेव्हा घरातनं बाहेर जातो तेव्हा आई वगैरे आपल्याला म्हणते की सांभाळून जा. सो सिमिलर मिनिंग आहे इत्तेराशाय. आणि जेव्हा घरी आल्यावर आपण तदायमा असं विश करतो, आय एम होम असं म्हणतो, तेव्हा घरची व्यक्ती आपल्याला वेलकम होम, वेलकम होम त्याच्यासाठी ग्रीटिंग आहे ओकाएरी. ओकाएरी नासाई means welcome home. Okaeri or okaeri nasai. Here the verb kaeru is used. Okaeri. So it is form of the verb kaeru, which means to return home. Okaeru. Okaeri or okaeri nasai. Welcome home. So in the companies or workplaces, greeting is used when we leave earlier than someone else. आपण कंपनीतनं किंवा कामाच्या ठिकाणावरनं लवकर घरी जात असतो, बट कोणीतरी स्टील तिथे काम करत असतं. सो त्यावेळेस ओसाकी ni shitsure shimasu. ओसाकी ni shitsure shimasu म्हणजे लवकर जाण्यासाठी आय एम सॉरी. एखादा आपल्यापेक्षा जो पोझिशन मध्ये मोठा आहे किंवा सिनियर आहे तो व्यक्ती तिथे काम करताय, बट आपल्याला लवकर जायचंय. सो तेव्हा ओसाकी ni shitsure shimasu. ओसाकी ni shitsure shimasu. I guess most of us know this one. Thank you. Arigato gozaimasu. Arigato gozaimasu. अगेन जसं ओहायो मध्ये योला उनी प्रोलॉंगेट केलं होतं, तसंच इथे तोला पण उनी प्रोलॉंगेट केलाय. आरिगातो गोजाइमास और विच इज अ फॉर्मल वन. Actually, we can simply use arigato. One more form of casual thank you is domo. Domo. It also means thank you, but again, it is also a casual form. For thank you, arigatou gozaimasu. Arigatou. Domo. Next is welcome. When someone says thank you, and we have to say welcome in return. Do itashimashite. Do itashimashite. Someone says us arigatou gozaimasu, and in return we say welcome. The greeting is used do itashimashite. For welcome, when we welcome someone to our place or any event, so for that welcome, a different greeting is used, that is yokoso. So a lot of people get confused in that these both welcome. So write the meanings. Welcome, do itashimashite. It is used when someone says a thank you. And yokoso is used while welcoming someone to a place or an event. Next is please. Please. Onegai shimasu. Onegai shimasu. Then it is also formal, casual. Onegai. So these casual greetings are mostly used while we talk to the people who are very close to us, our friends, family, relatives, or such people. Next is happy birthday. Happy birthday. For happy birthday, otanjobi. Omedetou gozaimasu. Otanjobi. Omedetou gozaimasu. Otanjobi means birthday. Omedetou gozaimasu. It is for congratulations. Omedetou gozaimasu is used for congratulation. So congratulations on your birthday. It roughly translates as this in English. Again, formal. Casually. Tanjobi omedetou. Or otanjobi omedetou. So the O before the tanjobi is basically a prefix which is used as respectful. So for even Japanese people use O before a lot of things. Like for money, they use okane. Kane also means money, but they use O respectfully. Okane. So similarly for tanjobi also they use otanjobi. If you want to congratulate someone, simply use omedetou gozaimasu. Then this one also formal one. Casually, omedetou. Omedetou. Casual only omedetou is used. Next is take care or get well soon. if we visit someone who is ill or sick, so for that we use odaijini. Odaijini. Get well soon or take care. Odaijini. Where daiji, the word in odaijini, daiji means important. So take care or just take care of your health. Your health is important. So in that meaning, odaijini. I guess these all greetings are okay for today. So these are all the basic greetings that we use in day-to-day life. So if you have any doubt, please comment in the YouTube comment section. And I hope you have all have written the meanings and the words along with the pronunciations, because the pronunciations are important. The prolongations in these words can change meaning. So the pronunciations are very important in Japanese. Also, one point I forgot to tell you before. जॅपनीज शिकताना मराठी और हिंदी थ्रू जर का शिकलं तर इझी जातं. बिकॉज जॅपनीजचा ग्रामरचा जो पॅटर्न आहे तो सिमिलर आहे मराठी आणि हिंदीच्या रॅदर दॅन इंग्लिश. इंग्लिशचा पॅटर्न जो आहे तो सब्जेक्ट, वर्ब अँड ऑब्जेक्ट असा जातो. बट मराठी, हिंदी आणि जॅपनीजचा जो ग्रामर पॅटर्न आहे तो सब्जेक्ट, ऑब्जेक्ट अँड वर्ब अशा प्रकारे आहे. सो जॅपनीज शिकताना ग्रामर हार्ड न जाण्यासाठी कधी पण हिंदी और मराठी थ्रू शिकायचं. Hope you all have understood the greetings. Now let's move towards people and family. How we call ourselves and our family in Japanese. So I would like to request Shruti to please carry on further.
Yeah. So just
Okay.
once again, am I audible to everyone? Okay, sorry.
So I've people asked me to repeat it again. I'll slowly repeat. Kindly pay attention. For good morning, Ohayo gozaimasu or Ohayo. For good afternoon, Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. For good evening, Konbanwa. Konbanwa. For good night, Oyasumi nasai. Oyasumi nasai or Oyasumi. Oyasumi. For hello on phone, Moshi moshi. Moshi moshi. For before eating or drinking, Itadakimasu. Here in English I have written SU, but it is not pronounced as su completely. The U is silent in there. So itadakimasu. Similar to Ohayo gozaimasu and arigato gozaimasu also. Itadakimasu. After eating or drinking, Gochiso sama deshita. Gochiso sama deshita. While leaving the house, the person who is leaving will use ittekimasu. Ittekimasu. And when you return home, Tadaima. Tadaima. The person who is going to leave us when we go out. Itterashai. Itterashai. The person who greets us when we come home will use okaeri or okaeri nasai. Then, sorry for leaving early. This phrase is used mainly when we work in a workplace. Osaki ni shitsure shimasu. Osaki ni shitsure shimasu. Sorry for leaving early. For thank you, arigatou gozaimasu. Formally, arigatou gozaimasu. Casually, arigatou. Arigatou. Then, casually, domo is also used. Domo. Welcome. After someone says thank you, do itashimashite. Do itashimashite. And welcome for welcoming someone to a place or event. Yokoso. Yokoso. Please, formally, onegai shimasu. Onegai shimasu. And casually, onegai. Onegai. For happy birthday, otanjoubi omedetou gozaimasu. Formally, otanjoubi omedetou gozaimasu. Casually, tanjoubi omedetou. Tanjoubi omedetou. For congratulating someone, formally, omedetou gozaimasu. And casually, omedetou. Take care or get well soon. Odaiji ni. Odaiji ni. So these were the basic greetings. Again, I hope you all have understand the pronunciations as well as the meanings of it. Now I would like to ask Shruti to carry with the people and family.
Thank you, Shreya. So, am I audible to everyone? Just checking once again.
You are now unmuted. You are now muted.
Okay. So, everyone, can you see the blank document here, notepad, where people is written? Okay, so we will start about how to call people or yourself, how to say yourself in Japanese. At very first, we will see human being, how a human being is called in Japanese. So first, human being. So next,
You are now muted.
next, how to call a baby. A baby. So baby is called as Aka-chan. Aka-chan. Just a second, there is a technical issue. Okay. Just wait for a minute. Okay. So can everyone see what's written on the notepad document? Just type yes if you are seeing everything in the comment box. Sorry for causing the inconvenience. I will repeat it from the start. So we are learning how people or how we should pronounce people or ourselves in Japanese. So the very first is a human being. A human being is called as ningen. 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 Then a person, how is a person called? A person is called as hito. Hito. Then a male. How to call a male or a boy or a man in Japanese? So a male or a boy is called as otoko. 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 For female, female is called as onna. 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 Next. So now, just now we learned how to call a person, then a male and a female. So now how to call a male person or a female person, which is why the Japanese actually use formal language. So they have a little bit different pronunciation for this types of people. So a male person is called as otoko no hito. Male otoko, person hito. So no is actually a we can say which joins it. So otoko no hito. Otoko no hito. Male person. Similarly, female person. Onna no hito. Onna, female, again hito, person. Onna no hito. Onna no hito. Then baby. A baby is called as akachan. 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 Next. Now how to pronounce yourself. How to pronounce yourself in Japanese. So for I or myself. I or myself. You call watashi. 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 I or myself. When you are talking about yourself, watashi is used. Then there are also different words for when you are talking about yourself when you are a girl or when you are a boy. So same to call yourself, then that means I or myself. If you are a girl, I or myself. If you are a girl, you call as watashi, watashi or atashi. Watashi or atashi. So atashi is actually used by females to sound more softer, like a little softing sound. ज्याला आपण लाडात बोलणं असं म्हणतो. So atashi is mostly used by the girls when they talk softer. So when you are a girl, you mostly girls there say watashi, watashi. And for boys, if you are a boy, you can say watashi, no problem. You can say watashi, but you can also say ore, 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 or boku, ore or boku. Ore or boku is an informal way of calling yourself, and these two words are only used by boys. No girl can use ore or boku in Japanese. Girls only say watashi, and boys can say watashi, ore, boku. Girls, telling once again, girls cannot say ore or boku. So these two words are mainly used by males or boys. Ore and boku. Then watakushi. Watakushi is the formal way of talking about yourself. Meaning is the same. Watakushi. 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 It's used in formal way. Formally. Watakushi. Meaning is same. I or myself. Just watashi, informal way, and formal way is watakushi. Watakushi. Then, if you are talking about your group, your own group, about we. If you're talking about your own group, that is we, you can say watashi tachi. Watashi tachi. Watashi tachi. Watashi tachi. Talking about a group or more than two people. Two or more than two people. Group of two or more than two. Sorry. Watashi tachi. So boys can also say watashi tachi, but since boys can say ore or boku, it also turns that boys can say ore tachi. Ore tachi or boku tachi. Ore tachi and boku tachi. But again, it's only informal, not formal. So these two are formal, informals. Watashi tachi, ore tachi, and boku tachi. To talk about a group of two or more than two, including you. Next. Boy. How to pronounce or how to what word is used for boy? So for boy, shonen, shonen, shonen. O is prolongated here, so they write U in Romaji. Shonen. Last, how to call a girl in Japanese. So a girl is called as shoujo. Shoujo. A girl is called as shoujo. Shonen, boy, and shoujo, girl. So you can write down all this in your notes to practice it while talking. I will repeat once again what everything I have told till now. So the very first, human being. Human being. It's called as ningen. Ningen. Then person. Hito. A person is called as hito. You can also screenshot this. Then male. A male is called as otoko. 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 Female. A female is called as onna. 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 Next, male person. Otoko no hito. Otoko no hito. Next, female person. Onna no hito. Onna no hito. What is called in Japanese? So it is aka-chan. 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 Then to call yourself, I or myself, watashi. watashi or watakushi, watakushi, which is very formal. Boys can also say it. Then for a girl, to call I or myself for a girl, watashi or atashi, watashi or atashi. Atashi is more soft speaking word, more soft word. So only girls call atashi, boys cannot say atashi. Then for boys, watashi, watashi is common for girls and boys. Also watakushi is common for girls and boys. Then ore, ore and boku, boku. For a group of two or more than two, which involves you, watashi tachi, watashi tachi, watashi tachi. And for boys, only boys, ore tachi and boku tachi, which is informal. Ore tachi and boku tachi is informal. Watashi tachi is formal. Then for boy, how to call a boy? Shonen, shonen. And a girl, shoujo, shoujo, shoujo. So this is how people are called in Japanese. So you can write it down. If you have written it down, it's good. You can also screenshot this. I hope you have understand. If you have any doubts, please comment in the comment box. All your doubts will be clear once this session is over. We will start a doubts clearing session also. So for now, let's see how counting is done in Japanese. So how numbers are said in Japanese. Abhishek will tell us how are the numbers in Japanese.
Hello, everyone. Yeah. So are you ready to learn how to count from 1 to 100 with Japanese numbers? All are ready. Just type yes. And if I'm completely audible, just type yes in the chat box so that I can just begin. Also, just check if Microsoft Word window is visible to you all on the screen. I guess it's loading. It will just take 5 to 10 seconds and we will be good to go. Hi, Preetham. You can keep your questions posted. We'll be taking a doubt clearing session and we'll clear all your doubts at the end of the session. Yeah, cool. So is my voice audible to y'all? Am I audible to y'all? Can you see the screen of Japanese numbers 1 to 100 on your YouTube screen? Yes, I guess everyone here is able to see the screen. So let's learn 1 to 100 in Japanese. Well, I'm excited to teach you all as well. See, the Japanese number system can be quite complex, especially when you first start learning. But don't worry, just pay attention and I'll try to make it as easy as possible for y'all. I suggest y'all to please take notes of everything I say and also write the pronunciation in your own words or language so that you remember it even after days when you practice. So without any further delay, let's begin. Also, one very important thing, please try to pronounce it as well while taking notes so that you when pronounce, you are able to write it in your own language. और बोर नहीं करते हैं and we will just start with the Japanese numbers 1 to 100. First, we'll be seeing numbers 1 to 10. This is the base of all the numbers in the Japanese number system. अगर 1 से 10 जम गया, बाकी का सब वैसे के वैसे ही जम जाएगा. I'll teach you the techniques. Don't worry. Just bear with me. We'll starting. Please take notes. So in Japanese, we called number 1 as. In Japanese, we call number 1 as ichi. It'll take some time to come on your screen. Just bear with it. I know it might be loading on your screen. Let's just wait. It's going on in the process. I'll wait with you all so that when it comes onto the YouTube screen, I can also start from then and there only. Yes, I guess now it's visible. Just a second. The problem is not from our end. Yeah, Bhumika, just a second. I have increased the font as well. Trying to resolve it. Okay, now I guess it is clear now. So the number 1 is called ichi in Japanese. Number 1 is called as ichi in Japanese. Let's give a pro tip here. Whenever I used to practice learning numbers, I used to always write in Hindi or Marathi as well. Like for ichi, we will be writing e, cha, chala, ichi matra, like that. And now that you can also just to make sure that you are getting the pronunciations well. So number 1 is pronounced as ichi in Japanese. Similarly, number 2 is pronounced as ni. Number 2 is pronounced as ni. You can write it as no, ichi matra, ni. Number 3 is pronounced as san. Number 3 is pronounced as san. Number 4 is pronounced as yon. Number 4 is pronounced as yon. One thing you have to take care that it's not yon, it's yon. I repeat, it's not yon, it's yon. Number 4 is also called as she. Number 4 is called as yon or she. Number 5 is called as go. Number 6 is called as roku. Number 6 is called as roku. Number 7 is called as nana. शब्द तोच आहे पण आपले नाना नाही, हा जॅपनीजचा नाना आहे. So number 7 is called as nana. It's also called as chi. Now, one thing to take care of it, why I've written this I separately than SH and CHI. See the vowel in she, the vowel E in she is silent here. So it's not she chi, it's chi. You have to elongate this sh and then you have to add CHI to it. So it's not she chi, it's chi. You don't have to pronounce the I there, it's chi. Pronounce number 8 as hachi. Number 8 as hachi. Pronounce number 9 as q or ku. Number 9 as q or ku. Pronounce number 10 as Jew. Number 10 as Jew. You have to hear the sound of Y there. It's not Jew, it's Jew. You have to elaborate JY, it's Jew. Go to the numbers 1 to 10 once again. Once you memorize this 10, counting to 100 is easy, it's very easy. You'll notice that number 4, 7 and 9 have multiple readings. 4 is called as yon or she, 7 is called as nana or chi, and 9 is called as q or ku. Now there's a fun fact. The number 4 and 9 are considered unlucky in Japanese because 4, which means she, actually means death in Japanese. And the number 9, meaning ku, actually means suffering in Japanese. Thus, Japanese people avoid using this unlucky number. And on the other hand, 7 is considered a lucky number in Japan. So coming back to our numbers having 2 readings, it doesn't really matter which one you pick when you're counting numbers. I personally prefer like this, and it's just me. You can take any of the number, but this is how I personally prefer. You can just check it one more time. I'll just repeat 1 to 10. 1, ichi. 2, ni. 3, san. 4, yon. 5, go. 6, roku. 7, nana or chi. 8, hachi. 9, q. 10, Jew. It's just me. I use the same. You can use either of them while you're counting 4, 7, and 9. Now let's go towards 11 to 100. Now see, there's a mathematical trick here when it comes to numbers like 11 to 19, numbers like 21 to 29, and similarly numbers from 91 to 99. For all these numbers, we have a trick called as the addition trick. here we use the addition trick. I repeat, for the numbers 11 to 19, 21 to 29, 31 to 39, and all the numbers from 91 to 99, what we do, it's called an addition trick. In Japan, 11 can be written as 10 plus 1. Now, if you have seen what we call 10, we call 10 as Jiu, and we called 1 as Ichi, and together it makes Jiuichi. You're getting the trick here. 11 is written as 10 plus 1. 10 is known as Jiu in Japanese, and Ichi is known as 1. And 10 plus 1, Jiu plus Ichi, together makes Jiuichi. Similarly, if we are writing 12, which is 10 plus 2, it makes Jiu plus Ni, and together it makes Juni. Similarly, we will write 13 as 10 plus 3, 14 as 10 plus 4. Similarly, we will do it till 10 plus 9. As I've told earlier, once we know the numbers from 1 to 10, it's very easier. Now, if you might be confused, how would we call 22, 23? All you have to take the preceding of the number and you have to just add the number. I'll just show an example. To call 20, we will write 20 as 20 plus 2. But for that, you will need 20. So, for 11 to 19, 21 to 29, and 91 to 99, there's this addition trick. Now, you might be worried what we call 20. So, for all the numbers like 20, 30, 40, 50, up to 90, we use the multiplication trick. That means 20 can be written as 2 into 10. As you know, 2 means ni in Japanese and 10 means jiu. Together it makes ni jiu. So all the numbers which have the tens power in it, like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 90, for all these numbers, we are using the multiplication trick. Similarly, for 30, we'll be using 3 into 10. 3 means san. 10 means Jiu. Together it makes Sanju. And now, for all the worries that you are having, I guess, in the beginning, like what is 21 called, 22 called, we have seen what is 11, 13, 20 called. Similarly, now it will be very easy. 21 can be written as 20 plus 1. 20 means Ni Jiu. 1 means Ichi. Together it makes Ni Jiu Ichi, which is 21. Similarly, if you would say, what does 35 means? It is 30 plus 5. 30 means Sanju plus 5 means Go. Together it makes Sanju Go. We'll have just a quick recap of what we have learned. 1 is pronounced as Ichi. 2 is pronounced as Ni. 3 as San. 4 as Yon. 5 as Go. 6 as Roku. 7 as Nana. 8 as Hachi. 9 as Q. And 10 as Jiu. Special mentions, we have here some special mentions. We have double reading characters. 4 is also known as Yon or She. 7 is known as Nana or Shi. I'll repeat one more. It's not Shi-Chi, it's Shi. You have to elaborate sh and then you have to add CHI to it. 9, Q or Ku. We have learned 2 tricks up to now. We have learned the addition trick and we have learned the multiplication trick. For all the numbers from 11 to 19, 21 to 29, up to 91 to 99, we use the addition trick. In such, we use the preceding 10 power plus we add the number. What I meant to say is for 11, we use 10 plus 1. For 21, we use 20 plus 1. For 31, we use 30 plus 1. So once you know how it works, you can just add and you can just combine those words. One example, 11 means 10 plus 1. 10 is called a Jew and 1 is called Ichi. So together it makes Jewichi. For all the numbers having 10 powers in it, like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, up to 90, we use the multiplication trick. In that, we first write a number and then multiply it by the preceding number. 20 can be written as 2 into 10. 2 means Ni, 10 means Jew. Together it makes Ni Jew. Similarly for 30, 3 into 10, 3 means San, 10 means Jew. Total it makes San Jew. Similarly, I think we can make all the numbers from 1 to 99. Now the question arises, what is 100 called in Japanese? See, now there's no trick for 100. It's a predefined word for 100. 100 is known as yaku in Japanese. Now what this ya is, it's a combination of two words, say hi and ya. So when we pronounce these two words together, which is hi and ya, we hear something like ya. Yeah, yeah. And all you have to do after that yeah is add ku to it. And so together it makes yaku. Repeat, 100 is called yaku in Japanese. It's a pronunciation of two words, hi plus ya, yaku. So that's it. Congratulations, you have learned how to pronounce numbers 1 to 100 in Japanese. It may seem difficult and confusing, but with practice, you realize that this was the most engaging part of today's session. Hope you all had fun learning numbers. Someone is asking me what is for the power of 10. I want to remind you all, today we have learned numbers 1 to 100. We'll be seeing higher numbers soon. And I know I'm not started 0. Let's get back from another session and we'll cover 0 along with all the numbers after 100 till 1000 and maybe more beyond that if we are getting some time. Now there's a good news. Please don't hate me for that. But I have been told to give you all a homework. And yes, this will help you a lot. It may sound boring, but trust me, this will help you a lot because this numbers in this counting is very important thing. So the homework for you is that you will have to write numbers 1 to 15 in the same way like I have taught you all. And also you have to take a snap of it and you have to post it on the WhatsApp group so that we can know you all have completed the homework. So it's a compulsory for all of you. Please do the homework and take a snap of it. Just write your name and the department and just submit it on the WhatsApp group that you all are enrolled in. So I hope you all enjoyed the first day of your workshop. You all learned a lot. We'll stop here because we don't want to exaggerate something in your minds. It's fine for first day. We were not even far as where you people are today. We'll meet tomorrow at same time. But before that, I want to just give you all a summary of what we have done today. You all learned about Japan and its culture. You learned about the Japanese language and its various proficiency tests. You have learned about how we pronounce people in Japanese. You have learned how to say greetings in Japanese. Along with that, the very last part of our session, you have learned how we pronounce numbers from 1 to 100 in the language. So now we can have, for the final 5 minutes, we can have a doubt clearing session. If you all have any doubts, please just post it in the live chat. We are here for 5 minutes, me, Shreya and Shruti. We can just go through your doubts and we can clear it off then and there. So we are now having the doubt clearing session. Someone is asking me what's the homework. The homework is 1 to 50, 50, 50. You have to write it in words 1 to 50. It will be better if you write more, but for us, if you are writing 1 to 50, that's okay. But if you want to practice more, you can go beyond 50 till 100. No problem. Do you have any doubts? We are waiting for all your doubts.
Shreni wants to know about zero. So Shreni, zero is basically called as zero. It is written in katakana mostly, but sometimes zero is also called as re. The REI, re. The I is a prolongation to re. Pritam, san and chan both are suffixes. San is used for elder people and chan is used for little kids or also for girls who are very close. I hope you understand. If you have any more doubts, please ask us. We are here to solve your doubts.
For people asking more clarification on zero, see, as for zero, the Japanese word is rei, but it's more commonly, it's said zero itself in Japanese. Sometimes maru is also used. Maru means circle in Japanese. So it's okay to say maru as well as it's okay to say rei, and also it's okay to say zero as well. Yeah. So do we have any more doubts?
Bhumika,
Someone is asking
yes.
San and Chan.
Yes, Bhumika, I've already told, but I'll explain once again. San and chan both are prefixes, suffixes, which are used after people's name. San is used for elder people, someone who is elder than us in position or in age. And chan is used for little kids or girls who are very close friends.
One more question is there. Chaitanya and Raghavendra, what is used for you? So for you, they have ki, mi, or anata. Ki, mi, or anata. These two words are used for calling you, which means you. I hope it is clear.
Yeah. So do we have any more doubts, or we shall conclude this session? Okay. Cool. Thank you everyone for all the thank you messages. Means a lot to us. And don't worry, this is just the first day of the session, and we had so much, but we have plenty more of store. We have plenty more of these things in store for you all. And we hope you all had fun today. It was a good learning session. Please come back tomorrow at the same time, 5 o'clock. How to join, when to join. The information will be given to you via the WhatsApp groups. Thank you for our coordinators as well. Thank you all the faculty members for joining us. And lastly, my dear students, thank you so much for joining. Any more doubts, you study. And if you have any more doubts, we'll cover it in tomorrow's session. Thank you all for joining. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Arigatou gozaimashita. Let's meet again
And,
tomorrow and have fun learning Japanese.
Arigatou gozaimashita.